Hi, my name's Cameron Carlson. I'm here with Anime Location at Matsuricon 2011, and I have with me Taliesin Jaffe.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
So we got some awesome jams going on as we're waiting for the formal dance to go. So how did you get in the world of anime?
Oh God, I don't even remember anymore. It's bloody hell. I was a big anime fan. I was a comic book fan growing up, and I was already working as a child actor. I was already sort of in the industry, and a friend of mine, sort of sideways, we were watching just the early dubs start up and early dub work start up in the late '80s, early '90s, and as anybody in the industry, we're like, oh God, we can make that better. And then we thought about it, and we're like, well, actually, I don't know if we can make it better, and we kind of put together a ragtag group and started dubbing stuff, and eventually I got picked up to do some work with New Generation Pictures and Pioneer, and eventually and just let the rest of my life slip. So now this is what I do for a living.
So it says in your bio that you used to work as an ADR script writer on a wide variety of shows. What is it like being a challenge of writing a show but not your native language, taking it from Japanese and putting it in English?
Well, it's actually weirdly kind of a mix of my least favorite part of the job and my favorite part of the job. It's really hard, to put it mildly. It's the hardest job that I think that you can have in the anime industry. Usually, thankfully, I've been blessed to mostly work with really good translators. It's not always true, and just the interesting mix of mathematics and language skills and being able to put together interesting prose is. God, it's so rewarding. I mean, the most recent thing that I did, it's been a little while now, is Romeo x Juliet. Yeah. And it's just such an opportunity to play with language, and then you send it off into the world, and actors and directors then get to play with that and make it sound just as pretty as you hoped it would. It's really frighteningly difficult. I have no better way of describing it. We call it seeing the Matrix. If you can, all the head writers, whenever we try out new people, like, how'd it go? Couldn't see the Matrix. Oh, so. It's very difficult work, though.
It says that you actually guest lectured at a wide variety of universities. How's that experience going from talking in a booth to now then just talking to a huge audience on a stage and knowing that what you're talking about is like a lecture versus just fun?
Being a director is part of the process is having a bit of a god complex, so it works out really well. It kind of fulfills my whole cult leader need. I really enjoy it. It's a whole different part of the work, but it's nice to actually show people the process so that they can. There's a lot of little things that we do for these shows, and you finish and you do some sort of brilliant little turn of phrase, or you put some great hidden thing into the show, and no one's ever going to see it in a million billion years. No one's ever going to you're never going to walk down the street and someone's going to say, "That was awesome what you did that time," and that never happens. So it's nice to sort of have a place where you can sit people down who are genuinely interested and show them the process and show them all the neat hidden little bits and pieces of your show. So I just mostly use it for bragging rights at this point. Like, look what we did! That was hard! Ah! Oh.
Okay, so it says that you were the ADR director with Christopher Bevins on Mongolian Chop Squad. How is it like working on that project with so much musical lore and history and love and passion for music?
It was... I haven't done anything so punk rock since. It was such a rock and roll show. And you say, if you haven't seen it, go see Mongolian Chop Squad dubbed on. It's out on DVD. It's on some streaming thing somewhere. It was such a weird way to do a show. I'd never worked for Funimation before. I'd never worked with a co-director before. Two co-directors, because we had Mike McFarlane in on the music end of it, and it came together so well. It was one of those shows. It was interesting because Hellsing I always describe as a very punk rock dubbing experience. Doing it the first time, I was very young. I had plenty of energy. I could be angry about things and yell about things and work really hard on that level. And this was so much more rock and roll. We were out listening to music almost like every third night. We were going out to listen to some local band, going to the bars, talking with the engineers about the best way to mix the club scenes. It was just amazing. It was so much fun, and there's so much heart in that show. I can tell you, there was blood, sweat, and tears in that show, and everybody really has a soft spot for it. Everybody who worked on it, including Eric Vale. Now, it's a whole in-joke going on right now.
Well, you can actually pick out Mongolian Chop Squad on the Save Edition for $25 the entire season.
No kidding. No kidding. Is it the slim pack? The slim packs are even better because they've got a couple lines that we wanted to tweak. We actually tweaked for the slim pack edition.
Yeah, it's just 4 discs, all 26 episodes, $25.
No, it's totally worth it. I highly recommend it. I know I've gotten fan letters from people who've literally said it changed their life. It might change yours. I'm very serious.
All right, so now you live in LA, yet you get to work for a lot of stuff in Dallas at the new Funimation studios. So how do you get to be able to audition for both cities? Because do you actually fly to Dallas to audition and then fly back to LA to audition, or do you just kind of do it all from one location?
Well, I live in LA and I'm based in LA, and as long as I know that you're willing to go out there and you've got a body of work that is pretty reasonable. Which I've kind of proven my chops at this point. So I just audition from home. They send stuff out every now and then, and I've got a little recording set up at home. I've got a couple nice mics, and I set it up in I have a little pool house, and I sit in my pool house and record and go out, and that's how you do it. And they do the same thing. I audition some of the Texas kids who come out and work for us. Street Fighter 4 has a bunch of Texans in it. Well, Kyle's not really. He's faux Texan. So.
And then Caitlin.
With Caitlin and Bevins, and a few other, Laura and Travis, but they've moved, a couple others, but yeah. Okay,
so which do you prefer though? Do you prefer to voice act, or do you prefer to be an ADR?
Depends on the project. The build towards the the feeling of completion with directing, especially directing anime, is definitely the better high, but it's just so easy to get that little short-term burst of fun. Acting is really, you're in, you're out, and you're like immediately like, oh, that was awesome, and that was the end of it. Whereas it's like a 6-month build before that DVD comes out, and you're like, oh my god, it's just that huge build-up is so fantastic, and just having that amount of control over anything is just again, you go mad with power.
All right, so is there any way that fans can follow you on the internet?
Yeah, I have a Twitter feed, which gets a little racy, but it's always kind of amusing in sort of the Warren Ellis variety, which is Executive Goth. I've got a website. It's just going up that will have any of the work announcements, and we'll say whether or not there's going to be Helsing or otherwise, which is taliesinjaffe.com. I take people on Facebook, but I'm going to pretty soon be building just a Facebook fan site because most of my friends mock what I do and don't want to hear about my stupid video game and cartoon crap. So. Sad but true. In real life, I am nothing special in real life. It's sad. I'm the hobo without a proper job. So.
Okay, so is there any upcoming projects you can talk about? I know there's a lot of those pesky NDNRs, but is there anything you can't talk about?
I can finally say that there's going to be some awesome stuff in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's going to have some really, really cool stuff coming up. They just announced Doctor Strange and a few other people coming up. A couple little favorites of mine have not been announced yet. On the other side, we can announce a Street Fighter Cross Tekken is slowly coming together, and that's going to be really, really cool. And there's going to be I don't quite know what's made the final cut yet, but there's the possibility of some amazing stuff in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I have to keep my lips sealed for now, but it's off the wall. Beyond that, I've got some web stuff coming up that you'll see hopefully soon if you're on my website or following my Twitter feed. There'll be some crazy internet stuff. So.
Well, thanks so much for coming to Anime Location and Matsuricon.com.
Thank you.
Matsuricon.
Matsuricon.